One of the nice things about N8N is that a lot of the tools are already available to you and you don't necessarily have to create another scenario. So you can see here, if I go into this tool here, this specific tool is actually calling a different workflow. And it feels a bit more like Make, where you have a separate scenario. And you have to do this when you examine the tools along the right-hand side and you just can't find the tool that you need. Whereas a lot of the tools are built in, so you don't actually have to build out a complete scenario. So in Make, every single one of your tools is a separate scenario, whereas in N8N, they already have a bunch of tools that can be integrated directly into a single scenario so that you don't have to have all of these separate workflows for each individual tool, which can become a pain. Now let's go ahead and just run this one time. Let's test this workflow. Let's jump back to the assistant and say, please create me an image of a man on a bike. Again, this is much more visual in the sense that we can see the agent running. We can see that it's generating the image. When it's done with the image, we can see that it's now going back to OpenAI to figure out what we should write back to Telegram. And then in this case, I had two different outputs. If it's a file, I actually download it and send it so that we actually get the image here. But the thing to note here is that it's just much more visual and you can see what's going on. Now, you can also come in here and you can see the exact output and how the agent was behaving. You can look at the logs and then you can go deeper into the agent and look at the memory. And then you can also look at prompts that were sent to OpenAI and then all the different steps all along the way. Using an agent is not just a linear action. And in Make, it does feel a lot more linear, even though you can tell that it's going back and forth and it's doing these different things. You just can't see it as well. And I think that's just because of the way the Make UI is designed. It's always moving from left to right, whereas in N8N, and generally it's moving this way, but automations can come down here and they can come back over here and then they can come down over here and then they can go over there and then you can actually have them loop back again. So the N8N interface in general is more flexible and more visual. So you're really able to see a lot better in terms of what the agent's doing. Sometimes in your automations, your agent's going to use multiple tools together to perform a single action. And if it's doing something in the wrong order and you have to go through your agent here and debug it this way through all of these different action steps and look through all this, this is a lot to look through. Whereas in N8N, just visually, you'd be able to identify the problem because you could see that it's going to this tool and then it goes to this one. And you know that it's supposed to go to this one first and then to that one. And then it's supposed to do this and then that, and then come over here and then go out. Just visually, without even debugging it, without going into the log, you would be able to see that.